Welcome to this tutorial on how to create this flask. As you can see here, we have a very dynamic piece of object that I've made that doesn't have very many straight curves on it. It could be very difficult to create straight out using extrudes and fillets, but using sketch surfaces, you can create things like this much easier. So I'm going to go back to my first step and show you how I went through this process. So here we are back at the beginning. You can tell the first thing I did was to create the basic outlining shape of it, to which I created a Boolean plane, which if you have your full menu started, it's located on Insert, Surface, Boolean plane, or bounded planes, excuse me. After I created this, I wanted two of them, so I just used the pattern command and plopped it out at the distance that I wanted it to be. Then I used the bridge surface, which bridged that side, which is an insert offset. Excuse me, detail features. Everything we'll be using is in this insert. It's the bridge command right there, and it'll bridge the surface. Trickiness with it, let's open it up so we can look at the command manager. Oh, where'd that go? Come back. Just let it think for a second. There we are. And when I selected the surfaces, you'll select that line and the one on the other side. It might do this to you, well, which is unfortunate. You just have to reverse the direction. Now I've reversed it inside out. And also right here on tangents, you can get different shapes. I like this squiggly shape. If you wanted, you could switch them both and have the inside curve. But here I wanted the outside, so I flipped them both out and changed their length to 1 for each side. You can change it, and it'll do different distances on different sides too. So we can make it squampus. We'll change that back to 1. And hit OK. Now you can mirror this to the other side if you wanted, or I just created another one because I enjoyed it so much. So we got two of those bridge surfaces, and then we put a bridge surface on the bottom as well. And this one, we attached it, instead of to the line, we attached it to that surface, or that edge, and this edge over here, not down here on that edge. Otherwise it wouldn't work. You can see it's attached to those two sides. Did it to 0.1. Made it really small. Here's where I put in an extrude. This was kind of tricky to get heads up. It depends on which surfaces you click first and the direction it's set before it will select everything. So I selected this edge and then that far side, made sure it was extruding up, and then added the two others, the rounded edges. And then it attached itself. Put in another bridge on top of that. Put in our datum plane. So we could do a sketch of that circle, which is centered. Extruded it down to next. Oh, we just moved it down 25 on this one. Another one I extruded it down to next. Then we use a surface blend, which is an insert. So we use the face blend, excuse me, to blend those two surfaces, which gave it a hole inside. So it did the work for us there. So I didn't have to trim out that and blend them together really nice. for us. Put in a bounded plane on the top, a bonded, and then drew a sketch for another extrude. You can see it's not there's not a hole anymore, so we had to use the trimmed sheet, which allowed me to cut it, and that's an insert trim sheet. If you can't find a command, the command finder is very helpful. So let's well, it's not letting me show you which surfaces I selected first. If one way doesn't work, just try the other way. It'll eventually go. Created a new datum plane, even higher up, for my last bit. Created a sketch there of the flange, and then used the through curves, which is an insert through curves, and created a lovely flange there. So we now have our flask. If it was made out of plastic, we could squeeze out liquid or whatever we wanted. I sewed it all together so it's one giant piece, and then used the thicken command. Now on this piece, you can see when I use the thickened, I thickened it outwards. If you try to thicken it inwards, it doesn't like it. Doesn't like you. So we can open that up. See, you can flip the direction, but it won't like it if I do it the other way. I just want it to be 1 millimeter thick. And thicken is found I'm going to show you how to use the command tool, command finder, and type in what you want, hit enter, thicken. So it's an insert, offset, scale, thicken. So we can go there if we wanted, or we can just click here, and it'll give us a thicken command. So this is how to make this flange.